All right, chat. Let's see which one of these myths are real and which are
With
fake.
35 different heroes in the game, there are a lot of myths floating around in Marvel Rivals, so join me as we test some of the craziest myths to find out which ones are true and which ones are false. And if you have any more Marvel Rivals myths, let me know in the comments for future episodes. But here we go, this is Marvel Rivals Mythbusters Episode 1.
Episode 1, baby. Mythbusters Marvel Rivals. Let's go. Let's do it.
Punisher can take enemy Punisher's zipline.
Confirmed.
Now,
I've seen this happen. I've done it.
Punisher, I
know this one's real.
but it turns out this is actually true. If you're playing Punisher, then you can interact with any zipline around the map, even if it was placed there by an enemy Punisher.
Confirmed.
Now, I'm not sure how often you'll come across this in an actual game, but if you do, feel free to follow a Punisher if he runs away from you by taking his zipline. Groot can place a wall on Rocket's ultimate to destroy it. So this one actually ended up being quite interesting. If we place a Groot wall right here, then it doesn't...
As a Lord Groot, I've never heard about this one, so I've never done it. So if you can destroy this with a wall, that'd be sweet.
Actually destroy the rocket ult. But maybe we need a second wall. Well, it won't actually let me place another wall above it to try and destroy the rocket ult. But what does actually happen is, when you cover Rocket's ult with a wall, well, it actually stops the effects, meaning nobody on Rocket's team gets any damage boost.
Dude, I didn't even know that. Oh my god, so I can use my wall to stop his boost? There's no way. Okay. All right, you learn something new every day.
If you look from Rocket's perspective, the damage boost is cut off when the Groot wall goes up. Now, if you destroy the Groot wall, then the damage boost comes back. So you can't fully destroy it with a Groot wall.
Yeah, we're going to be doing this now.
Prevent it from dealing damage boost. So it's kind of true, but not really.
Maybe that'll get us on the Grandmaster.
Does not count towards Wolverine's damage. So as you may know, Wolverine deals damage based on the enemy's max health. So he'll deal 15 base damage and then an extra 1.5% of their max health.
This might be an unpopular comment I'm about to make, but Wolverine, dude, I think he needs a nerf. I think that max HP that he does, how he shreds them, I think he needs a little nerf, dude.
When he's at 0 rage. So if we take Mr. Fantastic, for example, at 350 health, Wolverine will deal a base 20 damage. But when Mr. Fantastic goes in his inflated state, he gains bonus shield, which puts his health at 800. So does Wolverine deal more damage? Well, it turns out he does. As you can see, he deals 27 damage, which is 15 damage plus the additional 1.5%
The myth
of
is busted right there.
health. And this is the same for bonus shield. For other heroes like Venom, you can see he does 27 base damage for Venom's 800 health. But if Venom pops his ultimate, for example, giving him 1,150 shields here, the damage is increased to 32, which is based on the max health of 1,150. Now, this extra damage will decrease as you continue to damage them, because as their bonus shields go down, so does their maximum health. But don't worry, Wolverine, if you're playing against Mr. Fantastic, you can still shred him when he's a big boy. Shooting Moon Knight's Onk can target invisible heroes. Well, this is just straight up a myth. If an invisible hero like Invisible Woman is stood in the radius...
Yeah, I was gonna say, whenever I'm cloaking daggers, I think this is for... We'll see what he says here, right? But I think it is a myth, right? I'm pretty sure when I seen Onk, I go cloak, I go invisible, and I don't get hit.
Of Moon Knight's Onk, shooting the Onk will not detect the invisible character and will only go for them if they're not invisible. This is the same for any invisible character like Loki or Psylocke. You don't have to worry about running past
Cloak.
Onk. However, if a Moon Knight does throw an Onk at you while you're invisible, then you will still be damaged. If Moon Knight shoots an enemy Moon Knight's Onk, the projectiles will still bounce.
No.
When shooting your enemy Moon Knight's Onk as Moon Knight, nothing will happen. You'll just damage the Onk and it will break. Now, it would be cool if it did bounce to enemies just before it broke, but unfortunately, that's not the case.
Yeah, that's a stupid one. I think anybody who's played is attacked a Moon Knight, like another Moon Knight is a Moon Knight, has already done that and figured that one out. So that one was not very hard.
340 health targets using Black Widow's ultimate and the Hawkeye team up. So a normal Black Widow ultimate at full charge will deal 170 explosive damage, which isn't enough to kill any target at full health. However, with the Hawkeye team up, this allows Black Widow to see the after images of enemies. So if Black Widow uses this team up and then charges her ultimate, it will actually damage all of the after images at the same time, dealing a maximum of 340 damage, which can insta-kill so many targets, like all healers and
I didn't know
duelists,
that.
apart from Wolverine and Mr. Fantastic. Now, it seems like it can only damage up to 2 of the after imagers, giving it a maximum of 340 damage, but this is still an insane combo, so if you're ever running Black Widow with...
Dude, that's actually a pretty sweet combo right there. I did not know about that. You might want to try that maybe on a quick match, maybe on a Grandmaster or like a Celestial, but like gold and bronze, that might be a fun little gold and platinum. That might be a fun little thing to run.
With Hawkeye, keep this in mind because you could wipe so many people from the game in an instant.
Dude, that's so cool.
Penny Parker's self-healing can stack. So Penny can throw down her cyberwebs, and while standing inside them, she will gain passive healing. But can you stack multiple cyberwebs to increase the amount of healing? Well,
This one I'm interested in because I heard you can't.
first of all, the maximum amount
Never
of
really tested
cyberwebs
it,
you
though.
can stack is 4, because there's a limit of 3 cyberwebs from your cyberweb snare that can be active at once, but this can also be stacked on top of her bionic spider nest, as you can see here, to create a total of 4 stacks of cyber webs. And now on screen, you can see the difference between having 1, 2, 3, or 4 cyber webs stacked on top of each other. And this is how it works. The passive healing doesn't change
right?
up to 650 health. So you'll always heal at the same rate, no matter how many cyber webs you're stood on top of. However, things change when you hit 650 health. After 650 health, Penny will gain bonus health up to 800. And at this point, the healing actually does stack, and it's kind of weird. So if you have 1 cyberweb, it will take almost 3.5 seconds to reach 800 health. However, if you have 2 cyberwebs stacked, it will only take 3 seconds. But then there's a huge jump between 2 and 3 cyberwebs.
So the stacking happens after your max health, and it's just your bonus health. Okay.
Where it's an entire second faster to reach 800 health with 3 cyberwebs, and then if you have 4 cyberwebs stacked, then it will only take 1.5 seconds to reach 800 health. So yes, the cyberwebs do stack for...
This is actually a pretty awesome video, guys, so make sure you guys come like and subscribe. We'll have the description and the link in the description as well, so you guys come like and subscribe to this channel if you're not already part of it. But this is a very interesting video because it gives you a little more insight to all these characters, so when you're playing, you get just a little bit of advantage.
Healing the bonus health, but not the normal health. Hopefully you learned something interesting there because it's a little bit complicated. Now, whether this myth was busted, I'm not too sure because it's kind of true and kind of isn't. If an enemy stands between 2 Moon Knight onks, it will deal double the amount of damage. So as you can see here, Thor is stood next to 1 onk, and it deals this much damage. But now if we place 2 onks side by side and have him stand in between them, it does the exact same amount of damage. It doesn't deal double damage.
It kind of was a little tricky, no? Hit it, bounce, hit this, and bounce. So the eye, you'd be like, the eye Agamotto. You would say, the eye Agamotto says yes, it doesn't do more damage, but in reality, I think it... Let's go back really quick. Just see.
In between them, it does the exact same amount of damage. It doesn't deal double damage at all because Moon Knight's projectiles are limited to 3 bouncers. It doesn't bounce anymore.
Dude, that Moon Knight damage is so crazy.
Surrounding Thor. The only real reason you'd ever want to place 2 onks nearby is to actually increase the range. As you can see here, if I place 2 onks so that the onks can see each other, then technically you can have more range with your projectiles.
Is so cool. I didn't even know that was possible.
Doing this will give you less damage because every time his projectiles bounce, you get a 20% damage reduction. So in this clip right here, the actual bullets that end up hitting Thor have 40% less damage than if you just shot him directly. So keep an eye out for that. But
let me know, chat. Did you know that? Did you know that was a thing? I didn't know you could actually extend it like that. That's freaking awesome.
Does not equal more damage. You can stack Lunar Snow and Rocket's damage boost at the same time. So Rocket's damage boost from his ultimate gives you a flat 40% damage increase, and Lunar Snow's ultimate on the damage setting will also give you 40% damage boost. And I can confirm that when you have a Lunar Snow damage boosting you at the same time as Rocket's ultimate, they do stack, giving you a total of 80% damage increase. Although I think as Lunar Snow, you want to prioritize healing. That being said, this also works with...
Dude, that's actually pretty cool because there's so many people that are running like the meta now and on competitive, like at least in the higher ones, and I'm in Diamond, so in Diamond and higher. I've been seeing a lot of triple support, so that's actually really cool.
with Mantis's damage boost. So if you have Rocket and Mantis damage boost at the same time, then these will stack, giving you 40% with the additional 12% damage boost from Mantis, totaling 52% damage boost.
Wow.
If Loki copies Mantis, then they can stack damage boost. So if you copy a Mantis as Loki, that means you've got 2 Mantises on your team. So let's say the actual Mantis damage boosts Loki, giving him a 12% damage boost. Then if Loki uses Natural Anger, which gives yourself a 12% damage boost, then these do stack, giving you a total of 24% damage boost. However, I will say this doesn't really change much for the kill threshold, as it will...
Dude, so if you had that, you had those two, and we just did the Luna and Rocket, dude, all those stacking, that's a lot of damage.
Will take pretty much the exact same amount of bullets and combos to kill different targets. However, the same can't be said for damage boosting teammates. So if both of you inspire a teammate, meaning you'll damage boost them, the damage boost doesn't stack. It only gives them a flat 12% damage boost, which is very interesting.
Okay.
So as for this myth,
I was about to say they could double a Punisher too. That'd be really sweet, but never mind. I guess that's not possible.
it does work if Loki wants to damage boost himself, but it doesn't work if you want to stack damage boost on your teammates. Throwing out Namor's turret while damage boosted will give the turret a damage boost. So if you throw out Namor's turret, you can see right here, it just does this base damage. And it turns out it can't actually kill this bot before it disappears. So as you can see, this is the normal damage. But now let's say we have a rocket ultimate that's active when I throw out the turret. Well, as you can see, it does nothing. If this myth were true, it should have a 40% damage increase, and that's not the case, so that myth is busted.
Busted, okay.
Applying Mantis's damage boost will still affect projectiles that are mid-air. So let's take Namor, for example, where his projectile has travel time. I've already got the damage boost from Mantis, and I'm going to throw my primary fire at the dummy over there. Now, I'm going to throw my primary fire, and Mantis is going to damage boost me before the projectile hits. So it's already...
Dude, even if this is true, this one's like kind of like a very hard situation. You know, it's like going to be like a situational thing that somebody's like, this is interesting. Let's do this.
Left my hand, but it's not hit the target yet. And as you can see, when we get closer, this has done the exact same amount of damage, meaning this is actually true. If Mantis does damage boost you when you've already fired a projectile, if the projectile is yet to hit a target, that projectile will still have the damage boost. It won't make much difference in your games, but it's definitely interesting to know.
Yeah, it's like a very small nitpicky
Star-Lord's
one,
blaster barrage damage can stack onto one enemy. So let me explain this. When you use Star-Lord's blaster barrage, it will shoot all enemies within an 8-meter radius. And if they stay in this radius the entire time, then it will deal 240 damage. Now, if multiple enemies are in the radius of the ability, then it will damage all of them equally, damaging them for 240. But the projectiles still shoot towards the direction of the enemies. So right here, you can see Groot is standing in front of another enemy behind him, meaning 2 lots of damage are going to go in that direction, and Groot actually eats up all of it, meaning Groot ends up taking 480 damage because he's absorbed all of the damage that was meant for the bot behind him. And this can
I didn't know I'd take 480 damage, but I did know that if you're like, I play I'm Lord Strange and Captain America and Groot, and I know if a Star-Lord does this and I stand in front of my opponent, my teammates, they're not going to get hit. I didn't know I was eating their damage as well. I thought I was blocking them.
Stack and seriously deal a lot of damage. If you're caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, it can get bad. Here you can see Groot is stood in front of 2 other enemies, meaning Groot is now going to tank the damage for 3 enemies, totaling 7.
Dude, that makes a lot of sense actually, because I've had him do that and I've like stood in front of people and I'm like, why did that do so much damage? So that makes sense. I'm eating the damage of the people behind me. So that makes Star-Lord even better, like for the Tokyo maps where it's like the small alleyways. Wow, that's interesting. That's actually really interesting. I did not, because you know when you're playing the game, you're usually getting healed and everything, so you don't really notice how fast you're getting burned unless it's just like instant. You know, sometimes like a Wolverine or something. But I just didn't. I never noticed that I'm eating the damage of the other guys. I always thought I was just blocking them. That's really crazy.
120 damage, and that is absolutely brutal. From one press of the blaster barrage, Groot has almost lost all of his health. And what's interesting is this ability actually counts shields as another target. So if Doctor Strange is holding his shield, it will deal 480 damage to the shield because it's trying to damage the shield and the Doctor Strange behind him. So then if you have a Doctor Strange stood in front of all of his team, you could just melt his entire shield because it will absorb the damage for all of them.
Oh my gosh. This is such great info, actually. It's like better just to eat the damage than, oh my, like everybody spread out, just eat your own damage. 200 versus, oh my gosh, that's interesting. That's very, very like, wow.
Of them, as long as they're in an 8-meter radius. So this myth is true, and for anyone that played Reaper in Overwatch, this was the same thing for his ultimate. If Loki copies Doctor Strange, you can have 2 portals at the same time. So, of course, if Loki copies Doctor Strange, then he does get the ability to portal. But what actually happens is you share the same cooldown. So if Doctor Strange's portal is already on cooldown, then when you copy him as Loki, you'll have the exact same cooldown as him. Now, this also means if the Doctor Strange uses his portal, then yours will also go on cooldown, even though you didn't use it. So I guess NetEase don't want us placing portals everywhere, which will probably save a lot of people's computers. With Jeff's ultimate, you can eat a friendly Doctor Strange to remove his anti-
I wonder if you did it the exact same time, if you could do 2.
healing. So when Doctor Strange reaches 100 dark magic for more than 3 seconds, then he does receive an anti-healing effect. Now, this effect does only last for 2 seconds, so it's not really useful, but we tried it out anyway, and it turns out eating Doctor Strange as Jeff does remove this debuff. But by the time you even start healing, it doesn't matter, the anti-healing would have disappeared anyway. With Jeff's ultimate, you can eat Hulk as he's turning back into Bruce Banner. So, of course, when you die as Hero Hulk, there is an animation that turns you into Bruce Banner. But at this point, if you try eating him as Jeff, you'll have no luck and he can't be eaten. And for anyone wondering, when your health bar turns gold like this actually means you can't be eaten by a Jeff ult. So that's the easiest way to tell. It's the same if you're turning into Hulk, if you're on a Punisher turret, or if you're swimming underground as Jeff. Your health bar will be gold, and that means you can't be eaten by a Jeff ult.
I don't think he could get hit targeted by anything in that moment. Let me know
if any of these myths surprised you, and as I said before, let me know if you have any more myths in the comments that you'd like me to try out. I'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, that was wild, guys. That was wild for sure. I definitely didn't know that one. I definitely didn't know a few of those. So that was interesting for sure. All right, guys, let me know what you guys thought about that one. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you guys liked it. We stream on Twitch. You know, we've been a little delayed because of the computer issues we've been having, but we will be back there. So make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one.